How's it going, fellas? I got a fun little video for y'all today. This is a bit different than what I usually talk about. Before we get into this topic, I just want to say that I'm aware that there's no wrong way to spell any name. People can spell their children's names any way they want to. But with that being said, there's still a standard and most common way to spell certain names. So when we see a name that's spelled in a way that we're not used to seeing, then it's kinda surprising and we tend to think that the name is spelled incorrectly. In this list, you're gonna see a lot of common names that are spelled in a weird way. And I didn't put any of these 10 players in any particular order. I won't be including international players like Timofey Mozgov, for example. Most people think Timofey is a badly misspelled version of Timothy, but it's not. That's a common first name in Russia. Alright guys, without further ado, let's get started. Number 10, Antawn Jamison. This is probably the most blatant misspelling of an NBA player's name in history. Before Jamison was born, his parents actually told the hospital that they wanted his name to be spelled like this, which is one of the standard ways to spell his name. But apparently, the hospital incorrectly typed in Antawn as his official name on his birth certificate instead. And they just left it there and never changed it back. Everyone still pronounces his name as Antoine though, which is what it was supposed to be. Number 9, Jonathon Simmons. There have been hundreds of Johns and Jonathans in NBA history, but according to Basketball Reference's player database, there is only one player who spelled his first name like this. Every other Jonathon that played in the NBA spelled their name with an A at the end. And regardless, I'm pretty sure that's the most common way to spell Jonathan. Simmons had a great story though, as he had one of the most inspirational journeys to the NBA. So it's nice to see him having success with the Spurs. Number 8, Chris Andersen, aka Birdman. Birdman has had one of the more colorful careers, but I'm gonna say most people did not know that his last name was spelled like that, although it's not as uncommon as others. The most common way to spell Andersen usually has an O instead of an E at the end. Unlike the previous two players though, Andersen is a last name, so his father and ancestors always spelled it that way. And a few generations down the line, we're gonna see Birdman's descendants also share that same spelling. Number 7, DeAndre Bembry. I wasn't sure if I should put this guy on the list because the actual spelling is fine. However, Bembry's parents randomly decided to throw an apostrophe at the end of his first name, which doesn't make any sense at all. If anything, it should be near the front, but most commonly, there should not be any apostrophe in his name at all. I wish Bembry and his family are doing well, since his younger brother was shot and killed 2 weeks before Bembry got drafted in 2016. Number 6, Voshon Lenard. For those who don't know him, Lenard was the 46th overall pick in the 1994 NBA draft. He had a solid 10 seasons in the NBA and was known as a great three-point shooter. Lenard was actually the 2004 three-point shootout champion, but most fans have never heard of him, probably because they couldn't spell his name on Google. Usually Lenard is spelled with an O, like, Kawhi Leonard, Myers Leonard, Slick Leonard, and it's very uncommon to spell it the way that Voshon Lenard does. Number 5, Jerami Grant. I'm not sure if the spelling of Grant's name is symbolic for anything, but it's really off when you compare it to the standard spelling of Jerami. I guess it kinda makes sense when you look at the names of his older brothers, Jerian and Jerai. They all have an A and I in their first name. Maybe their parents just wanted to keep the trend going. Grant is currently playing for OKC, and he's a young, versatile, all-around player who's gonna continue to improve as his career progresses. He's only 23, but already has a ton of crazy dunks in the NBA so far. Number 4, Brandan Wright. Even though Wright has been in the league for almost 10 years now, many fans have never heard of him. Throughout his career, he's been an energetic, athletic big who scores very efficiently off the bench. He's played for a total of 6 teams now, and his main purpose on every team is to basically catch lobs and dunk the ball. His other claim to fame is that out of dozens of Brandans in NBA history, he is the only one with a weird spelling. I don't even think that this is an uncommon spelling. I've literally never seen Brandan spelled like this before. In fact, if you go to Google and type in Brandan, the way he spells it, the first and pretty much only person you see is Brandan Wright. Number 3, Justise Winslow. Winslow's spelling of his first name looks so weird that Dwyane Wade's wife, Gabrielle Union, instantly took notice of it and joked around with him. I'm guessing the standard way to spell Justise is with a C instead of an S. Like, you know how the actual word is spelled? The name Justise is not very common to begin with, and personally I don't know anyone with that name. According to the name's popularity in the United States, only 0.03% of males are named Justise, and I don't think any of them are spelled how Winslow spells it. Number 2, Anfernee Hardaway. Thank God Penny's nickname stuck with him, because the spelling of his real name is pretty hard to look at. There's been over 100 Anthonys who have played in the NBA at one point. Whether it's first name, last name, or middle name, they're all spelled the normal way, Anthony. None of them are spelled as egregiously as Penny's first name. There's been a theory over the years suggesting that Penny's mom did not know how to spell Anthony, but it turns out that she knew what she was doing and just wanted to give him a unique name. Still, it's a weird spelling of a very common name that we're all familiar with. Number 1, Dwyane Wade. Alright, let's be real, there are many different ways to spell Dwyane. It could be like anything, but if you look at all of these examples, their spellings actually match their phonetic pronunciation. But for D. Wade, it doesn't make any sense. It seems like the Y and A in his name were switched around. The spelling of his first name was so weird that it got to the point where his sponsors did not even know how to spell it. Even NBA 2K spelled his name wrong here. Wade's father is also named Dwyane, with the same exact spelling as his own. According to a report in 2010, Wade said his grandma thought that's how you spelled the name Dwyane, but wasn't sure. I guess we can conclude that she misspelled it all along. And that's all, folks. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more in the future. Thanks for watching.